Cheers, I do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you as we wind down, as we transition from Friday, or from Friday into Saturday. Yeah, so you hear me talk a lot about working your way down the food chain. So I started with my good stuff this evening, and now we're kind of, although it's been almost 2 hours since I've had anything to drink now, thanks to a lengthy phone call. Now I can just relax, man. Anyways, I digress. Let me fix something real fast, and you will have my undivided attention. I don't know why I can't get this thing fixed permanently, but I just can't seem to figure it out. There we go. Now we're back in business. Anyway, so here's what we got. Again, I decided to work my way down the food. Always start with your good stuff, but you don't need to stay there, right? Your palate's only going to handle so much. So work your way down the food chain. So anyway, I picked this up. Gosh, it's been over a month now since we were up in the Kansas City area. I picked this up at a Trader Joe's Simpler Times Lager at 6.2%. I've had this before. I just didn't remember it being an amber lager. And it does remind you a lot of that amber lager that everybody knows. But I just don't remember it being an amber when I've had it in years past. But anyway, again, working my way down the food chain. What do I do with my shot glass? I just had it here. Now I can't find it. Well, goodness gracious, where'd it go? There it is. I knew it was here somewhere. Good thing I had pants on, huh? I don't always have pants if I don't have pants. I have pajama bottoms on, but anyway, I don't usually have those on. So luckily for me, I had them on at that particular moment. Or luckily for you, it doesn't make any difference to me. Luckily for you, I had them on. I was telling a story that someone was making a comment about, you know, certain religious folks coming to your door and the way they would handle it. And I was telling about my dad. The second my dad got home from, my dad has his own business, ran a hot truck. He's up about 3 o'clock in the morning. And he'd typically be back, assuming he didn't go to the bar at the end of the shift, be back about 3:30, 4 o'clock. This in the afternoon. The first thing my dad would do is take all of his clothes off, be right down to his tidy whities, and lay down on the couch. Well, all the neighbors know that if they came to the house at any point, that's the way Dad was going to be, and it was understood. They could either accept it or not. But well, one day these Jehovah Witnesses come to the door, and Dad's standing there in his tidy whities. They said, "Sir, wouldn't you like to go put some clothes on?" Dad said, "No." And they didn't know where to take the conversation from there. They eventually looked at each other and walked off. But Dad wasn't putting clothes on for anybody. Clearly, they knew they weren't going to convert him at that point. But when did you like to put some clothes on? No. I think I was about 18 at the time. I just remember sitting on the couch laughing my ass off because I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen at that particular time in my young life. It was funny, man. Anyway, I digress. I will tell you this thing pours. The simpler times it pours very foamy. Um, Again, I've had this a lot where I felt like I bought that product a lot. I just don't remember it being like it is now. So I don't know if it's, they change vendors from time to time. I just don't know. Again, what I will tell you though is having had a few of these, I've still got some of them left, which is odd. I should have gone through this 12 pack already because I've had it for a while now, but it's not terrible, though. They're certainly. I mean, let me make it clear: it was $4.99 a 12 pack. Yeah, 12 pack, $4.99 a 12, not a 6, but a 12. So yeah, there are a lot worse beers out there that do cost more than this. There's nothing wrong with this one. It's just not a great beer. You're gonna the aromas, the flavors. You're gonna get some off stuff because this is what it's designed to be. So what whiskey am I pairing with a beer of this quality? Well, yeah, you guessed it. I wish I'd bought two of these, to be honest with you, though. Trader Joe's Kentucky Bourbon, a straight whiskey, at 90 proof whiskey at $14.99. Again, I mean, it's one of those you get what you pay for. Is it terrible? No. Is it great? No. It is probably a whiskey better meant for, a cocktail, a highball. But I got to tell you, it's not terrible straight either. It's not terrible neat. It really isn't. Is it great? No. It's terrible. So, again, like the beer, it's not the best thing you've had your lips around, but it's certainly not the worst. Uh, well, they say life isn't like a box of chocolates. It's more like a jar of jalapenos. What you do today might burn your ass tomorrow. Anyway, I digress. You better hope you ate some ice cream. Come on, ice cream. Anyways, I digress. No, again, to be honest with you, it is a bourbon or whiskey. Uh, Probably more suited for a highball, to be honest with you. But again, it's not horrible either. Don't usually stay up this late, even when I have the day off the next day. But since this is the one day this week that I really can sleep in, we decided just to stay up a little later, do one more video. Then, like I said, it's been about 2 hours in between videos, so I figured, oh, what the hell. As we head into the holidays, I do want to put in a plug to hope anybody happens to be watching. I'm going to do a holiday cocktail show tomorrow with a friend. I won't mention the name at the moment so I know it's actually going to happen, but sometimes things happen. But they are a professional mixologist and know what they're doing. I'm an amateur, but I have ideas. So we're both going to do two holiday inspired cocktails. So it should be a lot of fun, and there may be some other guests involved at the moment. There's still some details up in the air, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it. I've recently picked up a bunch of different bitters, and I'm not sure which ones I'm going to narrow it down to because we're only doing two cocktails. So, but I have these toasted almond bitters that I really enjoyed. Also, picked up some cranberry bitters and some cardamom bitters so that we may do something with. And of course, I also have the classic black walnut. But I think I'm going to try to find a use. Um, the cocktails I'm thinking of right now are most likely to use the toasted almond and the cardamom, but I like to find a use for the cranberry too, because holiday and all, Christmas and all, you got to have the cranberry thing going. But the cardamom, gosh, I really enjoy these. I wasn't expecting to see cardamom bitters, and man, these things are really good, man. I was surprised about the cranberry bitters being as red as they are. Well, cranberries are red, so I'm really surprised because I have cherry bitters and they're very clear. So I just figured the bitters would be there, but these will give you decidedly red color when they come out. So, biscuits. For those of you that aren't clear, no, I'm not really in this nice little house here now. It's just the background, man. Not trying to fool anybody, just setting a mood. I'm just setting the mood, man. Anyway, I don't know if you can read my shirt there. Get it up to read. Got Santa on it. Says I do it for the hose. For the hose, get it. Anyway, I digress. Oh, here's the thing about this whiskey. It is 14.99, which is rather reasonable. 90 proof. The flavors, there's no off flavors. There's no off aromas, and it's not hard to drink at all. But besides that, I tell you what I like about it though is the viscosity, the mouthfeel. It doesn't feel overly thin, but a lot of cheaper whiskeys do. They don't give you a lot of information on the bottle. The wording is interesting though. It says Kentucky Bourbon Straight Whiskey. It doesn't say Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Uh, so let's see, what's that say here? Kentucky Bourbon, and they're out of Louisville, Kentucky. You can probably narrow it down to figure out who exactly distills it. Look up Louisville distilleries. Look at a 90 proof. But I find the wording on the label very interesting. They had a Tennessee whiskey, right, with a black label on it, making it very clear. It was 13.99, and it for 80 proof. Uh, Distilled in Lynchburg, Tennessee. It wouldn't be hard to narrow down exactly who makes that particular whiskey, would it? I didn't buy that one. It was $1 less, 80 proof. I had no interest, but I did kind of want to try this one. The truth is, again, it isn't bad. It isn't great, but it isn't bad. But it's not supposed to be. It's only 14.99 a bottle, man. I mean, it's it's not Old Crow. Certainly not 10 high. 10 high. That's some wicked stuff, man. You could feel your soul die. After each shot of 10 high, you can feel part of your soul just fade away. Remember when my sister was getting married? Of course, typically the bride's family pays, but in this case, the groom's family was paying for most of it. And they had a different outlook on how things ought to go other than my dad. Uh, they wanted to have 10 high as the bourbon for the wedding, or the whiskey. 10 high is not a bourbon, but anyway, as the whiskey, 10 use 10 high. My dad balked at that, saying, "You can't use that. It's terrible stuff." They didn't disagree it was terrible, but they were going to use it anyway. And so there was a compromise made, and they were although they were serving 10 high to everybody else, Dad was having his Jim Beam. Right? Since Dad wasn't paying for the wedding, he still thought he should have a say, even though he wasn't paying for the wedding. And the groom's family made a nice point. They were paying for the wedding. They ought to be able to do things they want to do. Dad's point was, well, I don't like it. I don't like that. I can't drink that. It was a different time. In Dad's defense, that side of the family was batshit crazy. Yeah, those folks, all of them were nutso. But my brother-in-law's family, they were all batshit crazy. I don't think any of them had two wars, no water. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Anyway, sludge. Oh, I was curious though. So I hadn't had the Simpler Times product in, oh gosh, at least a half a dozen years. I just don't remember it being an amber. I've been trying to go back and find some early videos that I had done with the product. And again, I'm not showing it as an amber. I don't know if it changed over the years. Again, I know they change suppliers from time to time and different things happen. It is actually brewed in Monroe, Wisconsin. So I'm not going to give you my opinion, mind you, but if you look up Monroe, Wisconsin and breweries, it's really not hard to figure out who puts that together. It's really not tough, man. If you look at Monroe, Wisconsin, there's only so many breweries there, man. It's not hard to figure out who actually brews this beer. I just don't remember it being an amber when I've had it before. You do kind of feel you feel a lot of corn. You really can't feel the corn on the nose. You can taste it. It certainly isn't a great beer, but again, then again, for $4.99 a 12 pack, it's certainly not the worst thing I've ever paid $4.99 for. Which is kind of why I bought it in the first place. A lot of it was a little bit of reminiscing too, you know. Okay, let's see. Oh, biscuits. I get a lot of vanilla on the nose. I really haven't gotten over a lot of taste other than I've been getting a lot of opinion, but not a lot of actual. Let's just focus on the bourbon for a second. I get a lot of vanilla on the nose. You're going to find a little bit of spice, a little cinnamon, a little allspice, maybe just a hint of ginger in there as well. Again, I will say one thing about this whiskey I do like is the viscosity. The mouthfeel doesn't feel thin or watery. I feel like it's put together well. Again, you get those spice notes, a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to say more caramel than toffee because it's more of a creamier note. Nice oak and spice in the finish. Again, for the price point, it's not a terrible whiskey. It's not a great one. It's probably one more suited again for a highball or a cocktail than neat drinking, but that's not the worst thing I've ever drank neat, to be honest with you. Yeah, it does set itself up well for a highball, right? Um, a bourbon seven, bourbon coke, whatever you want to do. It does set itself up well for a highball. Even just bourbon soda. I mean, this and club soda will be fine. It's not even harsh drinking neat, to be honest with you. It's not the most nuanced of bourbons, but again, it's not harsh to drink neat. So, anyways, nice Christmas tree, right? It's nice, nice. I always have to mention that this is not my house. It's just the background because I've a couple of times I've had folks say, "Oh, we have a really nice house." Well, it's just the background on my TV. It looks nice. So there's a couple of times I've done backgrounds where I'm in like a basement or a parking garage. Just so people say, "Why are you there, Tom?" It's just it's just the background, man. Anyway, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker. Ah, purveyor of wisdom. But I'm also Tom, the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, professional fan. All right, good guy. Slouch you.